So, Susan Hartford, first of all, how did your event go out in the battlefield? I was sorry, I'm out of town in Williamsburg. I thought it sounded so fantastic.
Well, you know what? It actually exceeded my expectations. We got great feedback. Oddly enough, even though we were pushing that these are really precarious times, and that we are being called to action and have to take more risks, the feedback I'm getting is it was very uplifting. And it's
Good.
probably because somewhat inspired by you guys in the Women's Summit. By the way, I was wearing my Women's Summit buttons and people were saying, I'm going to that next year.
Uh-oh.
So anyway, so that's good.
I have
But
to work on number 10 now. We have 10. But even if not, well, Manassas Battlefield was such a great location for your wonderful event. And I just thought it was really unique too. So kudos to you. So go ahead with your question.
okay, great. So for Jessica, I think you were the one who mentioned coalitions, and how critical they've been to your campaign. And I am really intrigued by that. I think that is the wave of the future for us, that we, or at least we need to get stronger. We've done some of it. Could you be more specific about what coalitions, how you manage them together? Because I want to be inspired. Thanks.
Yes. So a theme that I kept coming across last cycle, I did knock, like I said, a lot of doors. Was I would go into areas, particularly in Upper James City County, the Stonehouse district that is predominantly redder, more Republican leaning, as well as New Kent, and even pockets within other parts of the district that have historically gone blue. And I would get the same response: I'm the only Democrat. And I'm like, you're absolutely not. And this theme was popping up quite a bit in Colonial Heritage, which is a 55 and up community in Upper James City County of Stonehouse. And I kept telling people, I'm like, no, you're not. Like, and I'm literally like, that person is that, like, I'm pointing. And I'm very grateful that that conversation happened in 2023 because I watched two of our very awesome members of the Historic Triangle Dems who live in Colonial Heritage decide, okay, clearly there is more of us than we know. We've kind of been coming across as this like fake ideology that we're like the minority here. And the reality is they are really close to 50-50 split. So they ended up with, we gave them some information using Van to kind of give them some targeted doors. They made flyers. They built a massive local Democratic group within Colonial Heritage. So they have their own Democratic little coalition. They meet monthly. They have 70 plus people meeting at the local clubhouse. They have over 280 people on their monthly newsletter that are, staying in touch, staying engaged, staying informed. And this also happened in New Kent. New Kent, same thing. I'd go into neighborhood after neighborhood. And I remember one particular, it was a mix of like houses and kind of like trailer parks. It was like probably a 200 resident place, but about 75 of them were doors that I was intended to knock and say, hey, there's an election this year. And by and large, all of them were left leaning and they all had the same response: I'm the only one. And because, especially out there, all they see is the Trump signs and the MAGA signs. And so they become just accepting of the fact that they don't have a community there. And again, I was like, no, like though, and they're like, really? And I'm like, yes. So same thing with New Kent Dems. New Kent Dems, they changed leadership a little bit. And Mike Hatfield, who used to do another indivisible group in Williamsburg, James City County area, he ended up moving to New Kent, where his daughter is. He took over the local New Kent. He's really ramped it up. And now they have 50, 60 people when they had three in the room when I was running in 2023 every month. They have 300 plus people getting newsletters. They added 900 new Democratic voters. They're the fastest growing county in the state. So I think what I try to do and what I continue to do in my messaging is we have to be able to have conversations and engage. Us that are very proud, Democrats need to wear it a little bit more publicly. We need to be a little more willing to show who we really are and be open to making those conversations happen with those that we have access to, whether it's a book club, whether it's at the grocery store, whatever the case may be, and make things political, because the reality is everything is political. Sorry, not sorry. Your trash can going to the street is political, for God's sakes. So find a way to like talk to the people in your community about issues that might be important to them and show them why the Democrat on the ballot is way better for you on this issue. And then, I mean, I talked to a MAGA guy yesterday for 10 minutes on his door, and he's voting for me. I mean, I'm talking raging MAGA. Um, And he liked what I had to say. He liked the fact that I don't care for the establishment. He liked the fact that I'm not, okay with people get skating by on being on a deeply red or a deeply blue seat and really not doing the work. I don't think that's okay either. Sometimes I wish every district looked like mine, quite honestly. And people had to go out, get into the community, and actually hear what people are needing and wanting. Um, so with that being said, that's where your coalitions are built, in the everyday conversations and the willingness to know you're not alone. You just got to find your people and build off that. And I think communities especially are finding a way to do that. And I'm really proud of the 71st and the efforts they've done over the last year, because we showed in 2024 that we were doing the work.
Well,
And
thank you so much. I wish I had a recording of this. I would
and
show it to so many people.
and
That is so true.
if I can add a
Mark,
little
go
bit
ahead,
too.
Go ahead, Mark. Yes, please, Mark, go ahead.
We're doing something called neighborhood rounds, kind of a spin on doctor rounding in the hospital, but we're purposely going to neighborhoods, getting people to host events in their homes, in the local clubhouses, and going to the red districts in my area. And I think it's important that they get a sense of community, that they know that there's other Democrats out there. They're not alone. We're handing out signs. We're saying, if they take away your sign, we'll replace it with 2 signs. If they take away those 2 signs, we'll replace it with 4 signs. And I think emboldening them by coming there and showing that we're fighting for them, it emboldens them to put their signs out and make and hopefully talk to their neighbors more and build a coalition and build momentum towards November.
Yeah, Mark, I want to jump in, Susan. I just realized I am recording this still, so I'll be able to maybe cut some of that if people don't care, if I can do that for Jessica, get Jessica's words and Mark's words.
You're absolutely fine to do.
Thank you. Okay. So I do want to say is that I think it's the idea that it's almost looking as bigger than you are to scare people away. And I think that that's what MAGA does, is they try to look bigger than they are sometimes. And I think that Democrats have to, actually, just like you said, kind of go all in and feel comfortable being a Democrat when you can. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So
can I just butt in and say, like, yes, 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 we have brands. The party label, again, is the main predictor of vote choice, even for most of the swing bucket, which is very vibe oriented. Like, now they're in power, so they vibe us. When we were in power, they vibed them. But in terms of the rest of it, like, all they do is brand warfare. So, like, their campaign against you is not going to be against you at all. It's going to be against mythological, New York City liberals with blue hair who want to mutilate children's genitalia and blah blah blah, right?
right.
So, like, they're going to do brand warfare on the D, and then if you're silent, there's no one to protect the brand and no one to counter lob offense at them that hits their brand, right? And so that's why I'm glad so many candidates stuck. But Jessica, I have to say, I love that story. It would be great to put that out on the cycle to people, and maybe use that video if Catherine pulls
Mhm.
it. And
Yeah, if I can do that.
have, maybe you could write a guest column about it or something, but because that's what we need people do. We need people to know they're not alone, find the other people, and plant the seeds of these new community organizations. So that is a wonderful story, and I'm really glad that I got a chance to hear about that.
Yeah, I want to just say, follow up, Rachel, with you on that one. The last part of it too, the Democratic brand, that some people, we're not having more people going toward the brand per se. It's not like we're winning people. That's the part I think that we've been talking about for months now, that kind of struggle of it's not like our brand is better all of a sudden, right?
You know what our
So
brand is? I don't think you guys have had me on, but again, it's just on the cycle. It's in the archives now because I publish a lot. But anyway, after the election, we get data. Okay, the data comes, and what it shows, because I can't show you the visual, is unfortunate. It's this graph that kind of maps out how important is an issue to the electorate, and do they assign the brand to the Republican or Democratic Party? Okay. And so the center line means they actually, voters are 50-50. So if I called and I said, which party's better on Medicare, believe it or not, the voters are 50-50. Okay. Medicare, education, Social Security. Okay. It's almost even true for abortion, which, a little bit of a bump. The only thing that voters clearly identified us clearly as the party that is for was gay rights. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's great. That's a great brand to have. It's a great human element. I'm obviously a big supporter of gay rights, but like that ain't all, right? And that's because so much of our focus has been counter offense on trans issues and blah, 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 blah. So what I'm saying is the electorate doesn't even know that you're better on Social Security because we continually bleach partisanship out of these campaigns, right? You'll have consultants, oh, you don't want to admit that you're a Democrat, right? Like, oh my God, right? And like when you
Right.
multiply that state by state, like nationwide, you can see why we're in this pinch. So it's so important for people to understand you're going to get judged by that D and the R. You cannot escape it, right?
Right.
And they're going to shit on the D. That's all their strategy is. And here's the thing, they win swing races doing it. So it's like, people will be like, oh, but Democrats can't win like that. Bullshit, they can't. Okay. Did Ron DeSantis run as a swing candidate? No, he didn't run like the moderation on issues is one thing, but I'm talking about temperament, right? People want a fighter right now. They want somebody to say, yeah, the house is on fire. These are the people that set it on fire, and I'm going to put it out. Right. And
Right.
anything else seems tone deaf because, we're in a moment of crisis, right? It feels like, do you even realize we're in a crisis if you're talking about, something like that. Right. So, yeah, it's very important that people understand you can't run from the brand. And that's what I was trying to convince Tester and Sherrod Brown's campaigns and,
Run
to
from-
understand, like,
Right.
no, I know how great they are. I know he's a farmer and he's a dirt farmer and he's great, but it doesn't matter because he's a D and the D brand is bad in Montana. We have to do brand marketing, period. And then we need the campaigns to be doing it primarily because they're the only people with message to distribute.
I quite
Mhm.
Well,
literally
Rachel,
just
let
real
me,
quick. I just want
oh,
I
go
just want
ahead.
to say real quick. One of my things I say to the doors verbatim is I may not be your party, but I might be your person if you want to take some time to learn who I am. I say that all the time to the point that I had one of Amanda Batten's staffers who was knocking my door literally say, I really like that you say that. Because I stopped him
Yeah.
in the street. But it's the truth.
Yeah.
I am a
I
former
think,
Republican. I am someone that has been a lifelong Virginian. I
Yeah.
can resonate far better with my neighbors than my opponent can.
Yeah,
She is not a native Virginian. She's very out of touch. And you need to lean into who you are in your community as a candidate and brand yourself when your party's not branding you right. Period. I mean, there's a reason I'm purple.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I love that, Jessica, because you also know the best message for your district, and that's so important to lean into. And I think some of our grassroots organizers who work with candidates and campaigns, they deserve a little bit more credibility when they walk in that space because they also know the district probably better than the 18-year-olds who work for the campaigns, which I always say. But I think, Rachel, the one point I wanted to ask you about is, as a grassroots organizer, we're in recruitment mode for these power packs. Like, this is the most important thing as a grassroots organizer right now. But my volunteers just want to beat Trump.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of my time connecting the dots, and I don't need anyone to tell me what the dots are, because I feel like I very much know the dots, but communicating them in a way that has the same urgency as beating Trump has been difficult out in the field to recruit people.
Yeah, I mean that's a shame, right? Because on the Republican system, they'd come in with this angst and they would feed it, right? Like all of our strategy cuts across the current, so they ride with the waves, and we're trying to swim against a riptide, basically, right? So it's hard to get people to understand. It's hard to get people like us to understand. So that pit that you have in your stomach, I know I go to bed with my pit and I wake
Yep.
up with my pit. And actually, since I'm a vivid dreamer, now I get to spend all night with my pit. Okay. Like here's the problem. Like when you go drive around whatever district Jessica's in, I'm sorry, I'm not no longer as familiar with Virginia as I was. The problem is not enough people in that district have a pit right now. Okay. And the reason they don't have a pit is because they don't read the news. They don't watch the news. You can see that in Donald Trump's approval ratings, right? Like eventually the stuff is going to snowball and probably start by the fall. But like even then, like the knowledge of these horrible things it belongs to the 30% of us that pay attention. Okay. And so what I've been talking about is how we need to spread the pit. you need other people to understand the stakes so that they can feel the angst in the pit, right? And local politics is tough. Like the reason the turnout is so low in the off cycle House of Delegates cycle, which not tied to the gubernatorial, is because for most people, they don't know who their senators are. I mean, the federal senators.
Right.
Like, let alone like the House members and certainly at the state legislative level. Now that can feel and sound very off because of the lived experience is very intense and very informed and blah, blah, blah. But when you look at the data, and the data don't lie, most people don't even really realize they have a state government. Like they really don't.
Right.
And they figure it out when they go to the hospital in Texas and they're bleeding out and they can't get medical care and they find out there's some state law, right? And it's like, and then only if someone tells them it's the Republican Party that did that, by the way, will they make that connection. And so like us highly informed people who are politically engaged, politically interested, have a very hard time like putting ourselves into a posture to communicate with those who pay attention to no news, right? And so, you know, the idea that you should be focusing on local issues, well, I guarantee you they're not. They're probably, you know, somebody in here posted up about Jay Jones and how there's signs all over already about how he's soft on crime. Okay. That's how they're going to run. It's a branding operation, right? And, you know,
That's
the
so
way to
true.
make people care about a state legislative race is through imagery. So what Republicans will do, and they did this to great effect all through the 2010s, was they would use Obama's picture and Pelosi's picture with the state rep picture, right? So that
Right.
like, I'm mad, I don't know who this person is, and I'm never gonna know, and I don't really care. No offense. But I hate Donald Trump or I hate Barack Obama, right? So you have to have that nationalization in to get the non-committed, non-interested person to show up and vote. And those people are going to be elemental to any big wave that comes in Virginia this time, right? So, you know,
Rachel,
nationalizing that opponent, you're making your opponent a proxy of Trump, okay? And then and even if it's stupid, right? It doesn't have to make logical sense. Like we all know, but other people have no fucking idea. They literally don't know any of the shit that we know, right? So like that's why Donald Trump's stuff works so good. He just tells them all the gas prices are low. Like, right? Like, and then you hear him parrot it, right? So like we need to dumb down. Like we need to go way dumb down. We need to think about our campaign strategies as okay, my voters are tuned out, they don't care, and they don't want to know. It's going to cost me a lot of money to tell them something, and that better be one thing. Okay, it better be one thing, because if it's six things, none of it's going to permeate. You got to spend all your money on that one thing, hammering them, right? And that theme is like, okay, this guy's a Trump lackey. He's just like Donald Trump, right?
Rachel,
Yeah.
I got to interrupt you for a second. Robin, I had to make you host because I'm at the condo and I think as we say, unstable. So
Okay. I got
thank
it.
you.
I got you.
With that interruption, I'm just gonna also know we have all these hands up, Rachel, and I'm sure they have
No,
questions.
when I don't get to come a lot, and I do, this is so important. To give up
So
this
important.
year was tough because of the election. I really wanted to come.
Well, what I'd like to do is set up for you with the candidates. Actually, I know we've been doing that special, so we can put together something with the candidates and you, and just stick with that. That would be awesome. So, but I'm sure people have other questions for you. I know what I'm thinking is Sears right next to Trump would be really just all you need to do, so people
all you
know.
do with the AK-47 and some Looney
Yeah,
Tune,
Trump
like,
and the
you
Looney
know, like,
thing
yeah, I mean, too
with his
extreme for
cankles.
Virginia. Here's
Trump
the
with his
tagline: too extreme for Virginia. So I don't know what
yeah,
you're.
it's too extreme.
Steve Smith, too extreme for Virginia. Trump's face, his face. Boom.
There it is. And yeah, the
Yeah.
cankles.
All right. Well, Catherine, we hope everything works out. Hope everything
Well, no,
works
I
out.
just want to make her the host because my condo is not stable. I mean, my internet is doing something weird. So I'm
Gotcha.
good. So Frida, go ahead, and then Judith.
Yeah, thanks. So my question is for Rachel, and it has to do, I'm putting it in the chat. There's this little city in Virginia that's less than 7,000 people that have been doing these protests.